Hey, what's going on guys, my name is AnyGamerTag and I'm back for your daily Fortnite video. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing a topic a lot of you guys have been asking me about recently, and that's how to improve aim with shotguns in Fortnite Battle Royale. So if you guys go to enjoy the video or find it helpful, a like would be very appreciated. Now on the contrary, if you genuinely dislike today's video, feel free to leave a dislike as well. I would also appreciate a comment letting me know what I can improve on for future videos to make it more enjoyable for you. And if you're new around here and would like to see more daily Fortnite content like this in the future, then feel free to subscribe as well as turning on post notifications. With that out of the way, let's hop right into today's video. Now, having good accuracy in the game is very important. I've discussed this in previous videos and explained the importance of it in these videos as well. I explained it like this. I said you can be a good player in Fortnite Battle Royale by all means, but if your accuracy is not there, then you're not going to be above average. And this goes with several other different factors in the game, including building and IQ. But you could have the greatest building in the game and the highest amount of IQ out of every single player in the world, but if you cannot land any shot, then playing the game is useless in general. So having good accuracy and decent aim is very important. And I know for me, and I'm sure a lot of you guys, more times than not, we end up getting more of our eliminations with shotguns, as we tend to find ourselves in a lot of close combat situations. So one of the most important accuracy to focus on, or aim rather, is shotgun aim. So that's going to be the main focus of today's video. We're going to concentrate specifically on shotgun aim and how we can improve that. A lot of you guys have been struggling with this recently, and I know there's been points where I've struggled with it. So whether you have really bad aim and you're really beginner, or if you have medium and mediocre aim, or if you think that you have advanced aim, this video will still show you ways that you can improve it and take it to the next level. So let's hop right into these methods. So the first method is actually the level at the crosshair, or where you hold your crosshair rather. And I would like to preface that all of these ways of improvements or methods to improve, I would consider to have the same amount of importance. They all are very important in improving your aim with shotguns. But again, the first one is where you hold your crosshair, or the level that it is at. And most of us know where the crosshair is, or what it is. Basically, it's the lines in the middle of the screen as well as the dot. This is a representation of basically where you aim down at, but of course we're using hip fire, meaning we're not aimed down. But if we were to shoot just bland like this without aiming down, this is a representation of the general area that the bullets, or pellets rather, would be going towards. Now with shotgun, it's a little bit different. It's not lines and a dot, rather it's like a square sort of pattern with a dot in the middle. Now obviously shotgun pellets don't shoot nearly as far as an AR would, which is a very beneficial thing for shotguns, because if you were to hip fire with an AR, obviously the bullets shoot almost indefinitely, so they're going to go and scatter different directions, obviously as they are traveling further and further. Whereas again with a shotgun, the bullets don't go nearly as far. So if you're in a close combat scenario and you're taking shots at someone 2 feet away, there's absolutely no point of aiming, as all of your shots will more than likely hit depending upon where your crosshair is leveled, which I'm going to be getting in a little bit here. So again, where you should be holding your crosshair. Now the majority of people actually hold their crosshair a lot lower than they should be, and this is something that I struggled with for quite some time, and I know again almost all of you guys probably struggle with as well. And the problem with holding it too low is that the only way to deal headshot damage is to use a flick shot, which is like a more advanced technique of taking shots at somebody, and most people don't do flick shots. So let's say you're in a close combat scenario, you're in a build battle and obviously using shotguns against your opponent. Let's say you get a chance to take a shot on them. If your crosshair is too low, it's unfortunately going to hit their body more than likely, which is going to deal a lot less damage than if it was to hit their head. Now all we have to do to fix that is slightly raise our crosshair up. This will more times than not land shots on the head and dealing such a significant amount of damage compared to a body shot. Now I'm not too sure about the exact amount of damage that different shotguns do opposed to like body and headshots, but I do know anything from a blue pump and above can deal 200 plus damage, meaning no matter how much health or shield someone has, it can deal a one-shot elimination. For the green pump, I believe it can deal 170 at max. It might be 150, but that is still enough for more times than not to deal one-shot eliminations. And then of course things like the golden pump can deal like 250, like a ridiculously amount that literally nobody can survive. But none of that matters and even has any impact on you if you're not raising your crosshair and hitting them at their head, which we should be doing. Again, body shots will deal like 80 damage, maybe sometimes, where a headshot can consistently deal anywhere from like 180 to 200 depending on the specific accuracy. So raising your crosshair is very important. Obviously keeping it lower than what I'm explaining it to be at is a lot more normal and natural feeling, but once you raise it, it's going to obviously feel a little unnatural, but you'll eventually get used to it, and keeping it at the height that you should be will eventually be like a casual thing. And if you're wondering at the height that it should be at, basically picture like someone 3 feet in front of you, or like obviously really close in front of you, and just kind of picture where their head level would be at. And this is where you want the center of the crosshair to be at least when you're running or in like a build battle or close combat scenarios. This way if someone pops out of nowhere, then you're already level with their head and you're more likely going to deal more damage than they are. Now the second method is sensitivity, and there's one sensitivity I'm focusing on mainly, and that is the X and Y sensitivity. And the reason that this sensitivity is so important is because when we're using shotguns, we're more than likely not aiming in, otherwise known as using ADS. Basically, we're hip firing, like I explained a little bit earlier. So the X and Y sensitivity are the only sensitivity settings that actually have any correlation to hip firing with shotguns. Now, I can't give you guys a set sensitivity to use, it's not one of those things that I can do. However, I can give you a reference point. For my X and Y, I use 0.760. And to be quite honest, I really wouldn't recommend using this sensitivity as I find it to be a little too high for most people. It suits my needs because, well, I'm a YouTuber, so gameplay is very important, so I like to play very aggressively, and having the sensitivity allows me to turn on people and things like that. But here's how you can actually optimize your sensitivity. So what I'd recommend doing is first going in your settings to your X and Y sensitivity, of course, and lowering it as of from where you have it right now. Lower it maybe 1 decimal place, meaning if it's at 0.7, then put it down to 0.6. And do that for both of these settings. Go into a game and see if your accuracy has improved. Usually this is what people struggle with. They think they needed to have it really high in order to get decent accuracy, but that's actually the complete opposite of the more logical way of optimizing your sensitivity and in general having good accuracy. So you'll more than likely see an increase in accuracy, at least by lowering it. However, if that's not the case, then raise it. Raise it from what it originally was at. So again, if it's at 0.7, then raise it to 0.8. This is more than likely not going to be the case for you, but it might be for some viewers of this video. And if you still can't find it, then once again, lower it 1 more decimal place or raise it 1 more decimal place, and continuously do this over and over again until you find that sweet spot. And this is basically how you can optimize your sensitivity setting for your shotgun accuracy. So once again, go in your settings, lower it 1 decimal place, and then see how that goes for you. Continuously raise it and lower it until you think you found the perfect sweet spot for you, and that's how you optimize your sensitivity settings for your shotgun. Now this leads me on to my next point, my third method, and this is actually kind of related to what I just talked about sensitivity wise. I explained that we should more times than not be using hip fire for a shotgun, and that really is the case. Now, I uploaded a video talking about this specific method a couple weeks ago, I think maybe about a week and a half ago, and a lot of people called me out for this. And what I'm talking about is not aiming down sights for shotguns, otherwise known as ADS. And in the gameplay, I was constantly doing this. I was constantly aiming down with my sights or with my shotgun and then taking a shot. And I had explained in the commentary to not do this. And a lot of people were like, didn't you just not say to do this? However, you're doing it in the gameplay consistently, and that is the case because I do struggle with this. So this is a great example to show you that obviously a lot of people are in this boat, including myself. I'm by not means a perfect player, but I do have awareness in terms of my errors and what I can improve on. So I'm pretty sure you guys will see it in this gameplay too, me consistently aiming down my sights. And the reason we don't want to do this is because it actually allows opponents to get their shots off faster than us. You might think it actually increases your accuracy as you're aimed down sights, which is not the case. In fact, it probably ruins your accuracy. And the reason this is because you're so used to your X and Y sensitivity. This is what you're used to when you're looking around for aiming for shotguns. So when you aim down your sights to take a shot, your sensitivity is going to be so much lower than your X and Y, and it's going to ruin your shot. You're going to expect to have to use your analog stick just a little bit to take the shot, when in reality, when you aim down, you're going to realize and come to a quick realization that you need to move a lot further than what you originally would have. Plus, it's like another maybe like 0.4 seconds to aim down in the sights, and it's going to allow your opponent to get their shot off way faster than you are. So you're basically gambling with your life at this point, and you're walking on tightrope in terms of hoping that they miss their shot and you can get yours off in time, and hoping that you do get lucky enough to land it on their head. So this is why we don't want to aim down sights with our shotgun, because one, it allows them to get their shot off first, and it's going to ruin our accuracy. And again, I'm kind of hypocritical in the sense that I might be doing this in the gameplay because it's such a natural feeling. So understand that this is something I struggle with as well, and it's something I'm trying to work on to help my accuracy. So if you're in this boat, let me know in the comment section down below, because I'm sure you are as well. Now, my fourth method is actually using creative maps, and this is basically specifically for accuracy. Now, if you guys are wondering what I'm talking about, there's actually creative maps that are specifically made for you guys to practice accuracy on. Now, although this video is again revolving around shotgun accuracy, I'm going to be straight up with you guys. I think just general accuracy creative maps are the best for you, and they have all types of accuracy maps. They have AR maps, they have shotgun maps, they have SMG maps, they have sniper maps, and they have maps that actually have all of those intertwined, and that's the ones I would recommend. I have one on the screen right here, and you guys can see the code at the top, so definitely use this one. And I'm sure if you guys looked up on YouTube shotgun accuracy maps for Fortnite creative mode, you could definitely probably find dozens if not hundreds of other maps you can use. And how to actually get in this map is basically start a creative map, and you're going to be loaded onto an area where there's going to be a bunch of rifts. You want to make your way over to one of the blue rifts and hold X or square, and it's going to allow you guys to actually enter your own creative code, and you want to enter the code that you guys have seen at the top of the screen, and you can now hop into the rift and it'll actually spawn you in this map. Basically what it's going to do, there's going to be different ranges and different targeting areas where there's going to be like test dummies and boxes that are going to be placed against the wall, and this is basically what you want to take your shots at. This actually does increase accuracy quite a lot, and I found this to be extremely beneficial. A lot of pro players actually use these before they get into a game, as they find this a great way to warm up. This is why you guys see pro players with consistently amazing accuracy, and a lot of them do vouch for these creative maps. Obviously, it's not the greatest representation of an in-game scenario because the test dummies and the boxes are not moving. However, there's different parts in the map where, for instance, it'll put ice on your feet and you're sliding around the map, so it helps you with targeting. So obviously, there's going to be some aspects that are different from this in a real-life game scenario, but they try to replicate it the best they could. And again, this is beyond helpful with any form of accuracy. Now, our fifth method in terms of accuracy is where you are positioned against your opponent, and this is specifically referring to high ground. Now, if you're in a build battle, you know that high ground is the most advantageous point in that build battle. In fact, it's literally the pinnacle of the build battle. It's the reason we're having the build battle, and that's because, again, height is so advantageous and such a strong position to have in Fortnite Battle Royale, and this goes for like any aspect in the game, whether this be snipers, RPG shots, and as well, you guessed it, shotgun shots. Shotgun accuracy is going to be very important in terms of height advantage. So getting high ground is going to be very important, or at least positioning yourself in high ground. So maybe if you're not the greatest builder, then I wouldn't start building like a crazy build battle against somebody. However, I do have a video uploaded on my channel yesterday showing you guys amazing ways to actually improve your building. But again, if you're not the greatest builder, I'm going to recommend getting in build battles against people. But I can recommend you guys placing yourself up on hills and then maybe building like a 1x1, just having a height advantage. And the only way people can get on a level with you is if they build up to you. And you're probably wondering why this even has any effect on shotgun accuracy. And here's why. It's basically because if someone has height advantage on you, the only way you can take shots at them is by looking up to them, and the only thing that's going to be exposed from them is probably going to be their head, if not their neck. So just think about it. If someone's in a 1x1, or if someone is just above you in general in the game, and you have to look up to take a shot at them, the only thing that, again, that's going to be up is going to be their head. So it's going to be beyond more hard and just very difficult to actually take a shot at them or even land a shot on them. So if you're the one with a height advantage and you're looking down on a player, everything about their body is exposed. And the best part about this is if you have like a bird's eye kind of view, and the very closest thing to you, then the very closest part of their body to you is going to be their head. So if you take a shot at them, more times than not, all of the pellets are going to hit their head. And since their entire body is exposed, if it doesn't hit their head, it's going to at least hit their chest or leg range. You're going to have a wider selection in terms of what you can land your shot on. And this does help with accuracy, especially where your bullets are hitting. This is why so many players are always trying to get height advantage, and this is why so many pro players at least always talk about height advantage and why it's so important. This is literally the main point of build battles, as well as why people camp in like 1x1s on hills. And I don't recommend you camp, but if you like to, I guess you could. I'm just recommending that you get height advantage. And again, I was just trying to explain the very important parts about height advantage and why you want to be the one above the player and not the one below them. Again, because more of their body is exposed, and when you take a shot at somebody that's on the ground and you have height advantage, not only is it more times than not going to hit their head, if it doesn't, at least it has other ranges and other destinations that the pellets can hit. Again, that can be their chest, their arms, their feet, their legs, etc, etc. Whereas if you're one on the ground and you're taking shots at somebody above you, you can only hit their head, and it's just going to be a lot more difficult of an angle, and you're more than likely going to miss your shot. Now, last and most certainly not least, this is a mentality factor, kind of a mentality barrier that a lot of people struggle with, and that I struggled with for like 6 months at a time as I played this game the very first day. And again, it took me like half a year to just kind of understand this concept. And this is to realize basically that you should not be panicking in really any scenario in the game, but specifically close encounters and like build battles or just general shotgun 1v1s. And the reason I keep referring to build battles throughout the video when it's a shotgun video is because pretty much every build battle you're going to be using a shotgun. Both players specifically are going to be, again, using a shotgun to take shots at each other due to the fact that it is very close engagements. But again, the mentality barrier, and this is something that a lot of people, I know, like probably like 90% of general and just casual players struggle with. And this again is learning to not panic. When you panic with anything in the game, your accuracy is going to be way off and you're going to find yourself making more errors than you should be. So if you panic with a shotgun in your hand and you're taking shots at someone, you're probably going to over aim and miss your shot, or whatever the case might be, you're just going to miss your shot more times than not due to panicking. But if you were to remain calm and not just go crazy basically, then it's going to be a lot easier for you to hit your shots, and you're probably going to see like an increase of like 90% of your shots hitting. Now it's not something I can really like embed in your head, it's just something that you need to come over. And now a couple tips I can share with you guys to kind of get over this mentality barrier. One of the ones I like to use is I tell people to go into maybe 5 to 7 games in a row, land Tilted Towers or Salty Spring, somewhere that's going to be very populated, and play ridiculously aggressively. Push everyone you see. I don't care what your health is. I don't care if you have 1 health. I don't care if you have no material. Push everyone you see. Get yourself in different scenarios and just play very aggressively. You're going to place yourself in different scenarios. Literally so many different scenarios where you're going to be at an advantage against other players as well as a disadvantage against other players. You're going to learn how to combat different game styles, etc, etc. But once you're placed in these different scenarios and you're placed in scenarios where again it's very intense, you're eventually going to get over that fear or like intimidation factor. And after a certain point, you're no longer going to be panicking, because panic kind of comes with fear and intimidation. And both of those kind of root and sprout from unfamiliar scenarios that you put yourself in. Like let's say you're afraid of heights. If you go and stand on top of a tower, it's going to be an unfamiliar feeling for you, judging off the fact that you probably don't do that often due to your fear. But if you were to work on a tower and you had a fear of heights and you were there every day, eventually you're going to get over that. You're no longer going to panic. And the same is kind of for Fortnite. You're no longer going to panic in these scenarios, and intimidation is no longer going to be there. You're going to realize, oh, I've been in this scenario 1,000 times, so this is nothing new to me, and I know what I can do to combat my opponent. And this goes for shotgun accuracy as well. If you're getting over that panic with a shotgun and it's no longer there, you're going to be the one that's landing these 200 plus shots and not your opponent, as they're going to be the one panicking now. And then lastly is kind of something I can just tell you that is literally a fact. If you get eliminated in the game, it's not a big deal. You can just load into another game. And I guess you could say that arena's a little bit different if you have to pay like a bus fare, and obviously you'll get placed lower than what you were, or maybe if you're in like a scrim or like a tourney, then it's a little bit different. But again, if you're just in a casual game, if you get eliminated, there's no big deal. You can just hop right into another game. Yeah, it's going to be frustrating at first, and that doesn't mean just go rush into someone's 1-by-1, but again, don't panic. Take your time, do not panic, and just, I guess, remain calm in these close combat scenarios. I understand it's difficult because, again, when I first started playing, this is something that I struggle with a lot, but I now came over this mentality barrier, basically using 2 of the methods I just shared with you guys. So that is 6 ways that you can improve your aim with shotguns in Fortnite Battle Royale. If you guys found this video helpful or enjoyable, again, a like would be very appreciated. Once again, on the contrary, if you genuinely disliked today's video, then feel free to leave a dislike, and I'd appreciate a comment letting me know what I can improve on for future videos to make it a little bit more enjoyable for you. And again, if you're new around here and would like to see more daily Fortnite content like this in the future, feel free to subscribe, as well as turning on post notifications. Anyways, my name is In A Gamer Tag. Thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Adios.